welcome Marion, and I'll have an introduction there in just a minute, but I'm going to go ahead and hit, oh, Denise already did it, of course. My teammate, see Marion, see, this is how we operate right there. She's already recording for us. So, hello, welcome everybody to our Friday call on the 17th of July. So we have 2 more of these after this call, so that's exciting to continue on our conversations. So we have some new faces today, which I think is wonderful. So I would love to have some introductions from that in a minute. But to start with, I'm just going to turn it over to Laura Beck, who would like to just put a little plug in, a little announcement that we're kind of excited about. So Laura?
Thank you, Chris. Well, hi, everyone. Great to see you. We had a big thing happen next week that we are very delighted to share. Our new Evolve online learning system is now live and publicly available for your exploration. There's a lot of free content on it. And we're also featuring some unique courses that we're going to be talking about in a launch party, a free launch party next Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern time. And I'm going to pop the registration for that webinar event. It is online, obviously, but it's going to be festive. So it's a party, whether we're together, it's a party here, right? Same kind of party. It will be an opportunity for you to learn some things about what these courses have to offer, what the system's about. You're going to hear from the course instructors and what inspired them to create the content that they created. So please consider joining us. It would just be fun to hang out with you again. And I am just popping the information you need if you want to check out the webinar registration right here in the box. So if you look in your chat box, you'll see that it says Evolve Online Learning Free Launch Party, and there's a link for you. So thank you for letting me let you know, because we just want as many of our friends there as possible. Thanks, Chris.
Yeah, definitely, Laura. Thank you. Yeah, the more the merrier. You know, we like to talk deep, but we also like to celebrate. So please come and join us in a celebration and spread the word. Obviously, we want anybody, you know, to come and see what we're pretty excited about it. This Evolve Learning. So thank you. So welcome, like I said, everybody to our Friday call. Denise did put something in the chat box. So if you want people to see your name, you can go to the upper right corner of your image, right? And there's a blue square with 3 dots. And if you click on that, you can type your name and then people will see your right name, if that's, you know, instead of your wrong name. All right. So,
Chris, I see my parents have joined. They didn't turn on their video, but.
Oh, how exciting. Oh my gosh, I'd love to hear from them too. Oh, I'm so excited. I love that. Oh, here's something's coming. Hey.
There they are.
All right. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. So I would like to start with, you know, a lot of us on this call, we already know each other, right? That we've been on these Friday calls together. So I would love to take a few minutes and have people introduce themselves that are new to the call, if that's okay. I know Jenny introduced Barb and David. So hello again. If you, maybe Jenny and Barb and David, you just want to say where you're from and anything a little bit about you. We're all about becoming well known.
So hi again. I'm Jenny, this is Barb, this is David. We're at Chelsea Place in Aurora, Colorado, where it's warm today, isn't it? Yeah. Yes. So Barb, what is your favorite flavor of ice cream?
That would have to be almond Jamocha fudge.
That sounds so good. And David, what is your favorite smell?
I don't know.
Okay, think on that. It could be fresh cut grass. It could be the pages of a law book. It could be lavender, whatever you think.
I guess it's white with print, full print.
Yes.
And that describes, you know, not very exciting way. It tells you I have spent a lot of time in books.
Very good. Hey, Barb, ask me a question so they can get to know me better.
Your favorite mode of transportation?
Ooh, okay. Favorite mode of transportation is my one-speed bicycle. Were you here the day that I rode my bicycle around and passed out snacks?
No.
Okay, well, I will have to do that again.
Oh, yes.
It's pretty awesome. Okay, that's us.
All right. Well, thank you, Barb, Jenny, and David. So good to have you with us today. Denise, would you like to introduce your guest?
I would. This is my mom, Marion Thomas. Y'all hear about her all the time. I talk about her living down in Texas. And so I'm very glad that she had time to join us today. Mom, what's your favorite kind of ice cream?
Peppermint stick.
Oh.
No,
That's a family joke at Christmas time.
Well, so good to have us with you. Marion comes from Texas, all the way down by the border, I believe, right?
Yep, Alamo.
Right.
Yeah.
I am 20 miles from Mexico.
Yeah, where it's a cool 90 degrees, but it will be 100 today. So let's see, there's a couple other people that I don't really know that well. Grace, would you like to say something? Hi, welcome.
Hi, I recently did the Eden Associate training, and I was actually on this call a few times. I live in San Diego, California. I'm just so inspired by this Eden movement, and I want to learn as much as I can and see what I can do to spread it.
Yay. We need all the help we can get, Grace. So nice to have you here today. Thank you. Thank you. And I don't know Gail. Hi, Gail. Are you able to unmute? Hi.
Yeah, hi. So I'm from the Windsor Elms in Little Windsor, Nova Scotia.
Okay.
And I think a couple of our staff are on here as well.
All right. Well, so good to have you.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
I know Shauna, Trisha Jean, Meredith. Oh, Jill, do you have some guests here today?
Yes, my parents, Marge and Dave. Their nicknames, just so you know, is Super Dave, because my dad's like an unbelievable bike rider, and we've always called him Super Dave because he's just super. And Marge in Charge. And I don't even need to explain why she would be called Marge in Charge. But I'll let them say a little bit about themselves.
Hi, I'm Dave, and next to me is Marge. We're out at Holly Creek, and we're known as Jill's parents.
For sure, yes.
And so Holly Creek is in Centennial, Colorado.
Yes. And we're in independent living, and it's been rough going lately, but they're opening the door up a little more for us lately, and we're allowed to have people come into from independent living, come into our apartments now. So that's a first in 4 months. So
Wow.
it's been a tight ship here.
Well, we'd love to hear a little bit more of your experience as we go on with the call, please. Hearing some different voices is what we're always about on these calls, and new ideas and all that. Norman, I've seen you on the call before, right?
Yes, I was on a call recently. I'm calling in from Long Beach in New York, and I work a lot with older adults in this area.
Okay, all right. Not as a familiar face, but I wanted to call it out. So, and all the rest of you, hello again. And like I said, welcome back. So excellent to have our guests with us today. Is there anybody who's not on camera that wanted to say something? A lot of us are on camera, so I wanted to give a moment just if you weren't. All right, and I don't know, so we left last week and we were kind of in some hot topics last week, which was kind of exciting. Hi, Neelian.
Hi.
So we were kind of really talking about what's inspiring us, and what is really kind of our, I guess we had a couple people talk about some interesting things that they're doing. I know we had Angie McAllister from Signature Health, who was talking about their superhero program and what they're doing. And we had put that link in the call from last week, for different organizations to kind of pick up this call of, you know, we are superheroes, and they're doing different things each week with their different organizations. And it was really pretty exciting. Jenny brought up something that they were working on, an idea for the future about the 200th day or the 150th day, and a way to really reflect on where we are during COVID. So that's kind of where we kind of left it. So I wanted to kind of open up the call today. If anybody wants to talk about their experience that they've been through, but we're really talking about opening back up. And there's so many different messages going on about that. And as we come out into, and thank you, Michelle Daniels, will always say, into our next normal, where do we think we have influence? We know that the way this all went down isn't the best for a lot of people in a lot of different situations. So I would like to start off kind of the conversation there. So where can we inspire and influence? Maybe where are we a little shaky about opening back up? And what has your experience been? So feel free, anybody, to kind of unmute. Star, we'll start with you. Thank you.
Well, Napa County has again closed all indoor dining, hair salons, you know, because we ended up, we're actually not terribly high, but we saw an acceleration of cases. And so we got put on the watch list, and then shortly after that, the governor said, no, we're just going to close down again. That's put a lot of people out of work. It's really, really difficult to see that happening, but I am not sure it isn't what we need to do. We still get to do window visits. Yay! We fought hard for those, and I don't want to see those go away because it's been very important. As I walk around the exterior of our building, I can see families visiting through the windows, and it's a way for them to stay connected. It's nothing like what we've seen before. In fact, I had a photo sent to me yesterday of our Thanksgiving gathering. We traditionally have a huge Thanksgiving gathering where we have, you know, we roll out these tables and have fancy tablecloths and fancy table settings and centerpieces. And the only thought that came to my mind when I saw that picture is, okay, what's our next normal going to look like? Because I know that as going into the fall, we're not expecting that this is going to improve. So we have to make the best of it, and we'll figure out a way to celebrate Thanksgiving and find every reason we can to be thankful, because there are many things. At this moment, we are COVID free, praise the Lord. And, you know, we just want to keep everyone safe. We want to make sure that we do our part. So we are following what the local health department tells us and what the California Department of Health. Sometimes there's differences there, but we go with the most prudent advice, and hopefully we can just stay the way we are today, COVID free. So that's the goal, and California is doing their best to get this back under control because we kind of opened up and things started getting worse. So that's probably because we maybe opened just a little too early. So hopefully it'll get under control and we'll be able to follow other states that are not having problems with COVID or having minimal problems with COVID. So anyway, that's from California.
Thank you, Star. I really appreciate every week you sharing where you are. You have been through so many ups and downs, and I was just talking about you and your courage of saying, you know what, I need to speak up, right? And during this time, so you've had a lot of back and forth. So thank you, Star. Thank you, Jill. She put in the chat box. I did want to remind everybody, as always, we're recording this call, and we do put it online, and we've had some great feedback from some people who weren't able to join us on Friday, but they have listened to the call, and they have really, their wheels started turning because of the wisdom and the different things that are shared on this call. So thank you. Barb, I think Barb wanted to share something with us. I'd love to hear about your past experience with law enforcement and your thoughts on victimization as it relates to our current situation. Thank you.
What I typed for everyone to see is that you wish to share your past experience in law enforcement and your thoughts on victimization and how that relates to our current situation. Okay, so take it away.
I'm not sure it was well planned, or it just kind of being in the right place at the right time. And I spent 25 years working in the sheriff's office with victim issues, victimization, and then decided to retire from that. And that sort of, well, like you don't really retire from this work, do we? Kind of slid into it and worked specifically with domestic violence. And now here I am at Chelsea, and I really did not have any intention of really dedicating myself to that. I signed up to do volunteer work there, and that has grown into a pretty strong love and desire to help how many people follow. Sorry, I'm having a hard time speaking. Water, I'll be right back. Thank you. I have Alzheimer's and epilepsy, and that actually offers some benefits, some information for me that enables me to work better with men and women who are in facilities like this. I've formed some really nice allegiance with the women in our facility that look for someone with a little experience, but not necessarily with several degrees. That doesn't sound too snobby. Anyway, I have grown into it, and I don't see myself retiring any day soon. So I'm looking forward to this group to being a small part of the work that you've done and will continue to do.
Thank you, Barb. Thank you. It sounds like are you helping some others deal with some past trauma, or just being like a support group? That's what it kind of sounds like.
Being support. Yeah, I think that's the best way to put it. I don't want to give people the impression that I'm a be all end all and I'm going to get you in or out of this situation. It's just simply, this is who I am, and if there's any part of that that you think you will find useful in your life, then let's go to it.
Yeah, it really sounds like your life experience has brought you to this point, and now to be able to share that back with the community that you live with,
Yes.
kind of be that voice and that support. That is fabulous. I bet there's some big appreciation for that and your voice being heard in that.
There is, there really is, more so than I ever expected.
Excellent.
So that's been really positive.
Good. Something you've been able to be there for. Thank you, Barb. Thank you. So Evie would like to hear from some other people's on the call and your wisdom with dealing with this. So some people who are living through it, like, you know, David, Joan, Marion, anybody else who wants to kind of speak to your experience of what you've been through. We'd kind of love to hear your insights. Neil Ann, hello, Neil Ann.
Yeah, this is David.
Hi, David.
I think it's the first time I've been here with this group. And I got an invite from my person sitting next to me. But I am a former law professor. I went to Stanford Law School and got a law degree, and BYU, where I had been an undergraduate for 4 years and graduated from there. BYU was going to form a law school, a new law school, and the president of BYU called me on the phone when I was in the Bay Area practicing law with a law firm that was across the street from Chinatown. And I basically took the call, and he said, we want to form a new law school, and we want you as a professor. And so I said, I will come and talk about it. And I flew to Salt Lake and ended up in Provo, Utah. And I met with the president of BYU, and he offered me a job on the new law school. And I took it. And I was there 19 years. And I taught first-year law students. And I taught them how to think and how to think differently than they'd been thinking. And I did it for 19 years. And for first-year law students. And then I basically saw the it going, you're getting more expensive and in Denver. And basically my partner of mine that I made in law school at Stanford called me up, and we spent a weekend and we bought $1 million in Denver real estate.
You know I love that story. Does anyone else have a story to share?
That sounds like some big swings in your life experience, David. Yeah, so I'm sure you bring a lot too. So thank you. Thank you for sharing that with us. Let's see, who wants to go next? Marion, would you want to share what life's been like for you through this COVID and how you feel coming out of it? Or, you know, we're opening and.
Okay, let me know if my mic is cutting in and out, because that happens, unfortunately. I live in an RV park, a resort. People live in mobile homes or they live in RVs. And at the moment, we have gone from the 500-600 people down to 88. So those of us that remain are very close. We're here usually for the summer. We have our buildings all shut down. Our park offers many things for you to do, but doesn't work during this because of passing the virus around. Everything is closed, with the exception of the pool and the laundry, which I'm thankful for. It's a little difficult for me because I have what they call a sun poisoning of some sort, and I'm all broke out in little pimples, so I must stay out of the sun. So my trip to the pool has been eliminated for a while, and others go to the pool. On the 4th of July, we had a golf cart parade and went to a park next door to us. Gave us something to think about and something to produce, which we all need. It's really great. People call on me to see if I'm okay. If someone's going to the store, we take them, you know, we find out if they need something. One person will bring back what's needed. We can order groceries. We try not to get out of the park. We've had one case of someone that got the virus. And then, of course, we all quarantined very quickly that we're anywhere near that person. So that's kind of my life today. You are a great diversion for me today.
Well, we're certainly grateful you're here. Thank you for sharing. It sounds like you do have a kind of close community there, and you're really looking out for each other.
Right, and that's what keeps our sanity. We're all struggling with depression. There's no doubt. You know, we share that. We're very fortunate. We have some people who need more help than others, but someone said to me the other day, we don't want to become the caregivers. When it reaches that point, then they don't fit the community. So then we look forward to that, and you all understand that. That's difficult for all of us to say goodbye to someone from the community.
Right, especially when you've grown so close.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, Marion, I'll tell you a secret. Denise would like you right beside her in the house next door. So. But it's good to hear you're thriving in your community. Well, thriving, not thriving, but being at least together.
Yes.
I did hear the depression piece, which is, I know, huge for many. So.
Well, and I think this kind of living is good for me because I can get out were it not for this time span when I must keep out of the sun. I can go on my little golf cart and ride around, and were I in an apartment in Sioux City, Iowa, which is where I moved from, then my time and my space with people would be very limited. So I consider this a blessing to be where I am.
Okay. Thank you, Marion.
Hey, Mom, tell them about your happy hours. I know you have them suspended temporarily, but tell them a little bit about happy hour time.
Well, happy hour has changed a great deal. We gather in groups and at anybody's house. And when things are really good on a Friday afternoon, we'll gather at the hall. And there are 2 parks side by side, and we'll go, everybody brings a little something to share in your own toddy, whatever that might be. And we just communicate back and forth. Our happy hours have now evolved too. No more than 10 people. We sit outside somebody's unit and chit chat. Now we are at least 3 feet apart. And somebody will come driving up and they'll stand there and count how many people are there, whether they can stay or they need to move on. So we're trying. We're not standing on the corner and saying, I won't do that.
You're finding different ways, right? So,
that's right. That's right.
Thank you, Mary. David and Joan, I'd love to hear from you. I know you've had a different experience as well, living in independent living. Would you be willing to share with us some of the, maybe some of the highs and some of the lows? And
So we were talking to David and Marge.
Oh, Marge, I'm sorry, Marge. Yes. I don't know why I want to call you Joan. I so apologize. Sorry. Okay. Yes, well, David and Marge.
We try to get out and take about a 3-mile walk every day. And that's kind of the highlight of the day. If you get up, have some tea, watch the news, go out for a walk. Then you come back and say, okay, it's time to decide what we're going to have for dinner tonight. And we look at the menu and decide what we're going to have. And then but at 4 o'clock, we just have to have a glass of wine and a Manhattan. So that's kind of that really is the highlight of the day. Then we now can go down to the dining room. Prior to this, the meals had to be delivered. And I'll tell you, one thing that I really enjoy, photography is my hobby. And every apartment has we call it Grand Care, it's a screen. And my pictures get on that. And also we have a digital photo frame in the hall. And what keeps me going with that is people tell me that helps them to see those pictures every day. So that's one of the things I do to keep busy.
What kind of pictures? I'm just curious.
Oh, flowers, outdoor pictures, people. Some are pictures of many years ago, and some are pictures today. You know, Marge and I have gone on a couple of hikes, and we take pictures there. Yesterday, we had a food truck. I mean, this is owned by CLC, and it's going to serve the 3 legacy communities. And got a few pictures of that. And that was something, it was fun. It's kind of something different that between Morrison, the food provider, and CLC, that they've decided they're going to do on an occasional basis at all 3 of the legacy communities.
Mm-hmm. And people love to see themselves in a picture. So if you get them captured, like going to the food truck or something, yeah, I'm sure they love it. Well, thank you. You know, and I don't know if you're willing, and please, I don't want to put you on the spot, David and Marge, but I do know that during these calls, we share a lot of good things, the silver linings, but we also talk about the hard things that has happened during COVID. Is there any like wisdom or thoughts or anything you've been through that has really that's been a little hard? I don't know. If you, again, please don't let me put you on the spot, but I think we all learn from each other in triumph and sorrow.
Well, probably one of the most difficult things is sometimes you feel like you're in a jail. You know, you can't do this, you can't do that. We're very prescriptive about what you're allowed to do. And we're still not allowed to go and visit our families in their homes. So that's been very, very difficult. We're hoping that eventually that's going to change, but it's going to depend on the way that the COVID statistics go in Colorado, in particular in our part of Colorado. That's probably one of the biggest things now. What really hurt for a long time was you could get out and drive in your car, but you couldn't get out of the car. And a drive in the car doesn't help Marge much because Marge is blind. So really made a difference when we got that opened up. And it's really in accordance with the governor's recommendations, get outside. So now we can go to a park, go take a walk, whatever we want to do. So that's helped a lot.
To get out there. Yeah, I think that's something common. It's that struggle of knowing you want to get out, but you want to keep others safe. But other people are in different circumstances. So thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that, Dave. Jenny, did you want to say something?
I think Jill's trying to jump in.
I was just going to ask if Marge, Mom, if there anything you wanted to share?
No, I think that your father covered it pretty well. It's just, you know, I was making pretty good progress with my blindness because it took me a while to learn to deal with. We have a very large population here at Holly Creek, just to get through the halls and, you know, and deal with it all. And now we were sort of on lockdown. So it's going to be learning it all over again. And, you know, I had started to recognize people by their voices, and now I don't hear their voices anymore. So,
yes,
yeah.
Sure. You bet.
I can't even imagine. Thank you. Thanks, Marge.
I wanted to share that both Barb and David have moved to Chelsea Place in the midst of all of this, which has been a really unique situation both for them and their families. But once you step through those doors, life really changed. So do you want to talk about that, how like just how it's affected you, or kind of what your experience has been?
Earlier, someone mentioned how much depression gets involved in this. You're trying to learn this new lifestyle. And I found that I picked up on it fairly quickly through good training and learning by the seat of my pants too, quite frankly. But my family had a hard time adjusting. And so the staff at Chelsea just they keep repeating specific activities, specific articles. I mean, we have adult coloring books out. We have all kinds of things to do. I've been mucking around in the flower beds out in the garden, so take a good look at those. It's been a great learning experience. But I think the agency that supports whoever you're representing, the onus is on them really to kind of give you a shove, and I needed a big shove, but I got it. And now I'm doing so well. I've been at Chelsea for almost a year, I think. And I think at the first, I had an attitude of, you're going to get me in here by dragging me. I'm not going willingly. And now it's home. It's a home. And I owe so much to my Chelsea family.
Yep. And now go ahead, Jenny.
Oh, I said, damn it, Barb, you're making me cry.
Well, it seems like now the script has kind of flipped, and Barb, now you're encouraging others. So it took some encouragement to get you going, and now that this is family and it's home, you are that person now for other people. So that's wonderful.
What did you want to share about your experience?
I just wanted to share an experience that is with a different organization. Stanford Law School had one woman student when I entered the law school. And when I graduated 3 years later, because the students that were in an environment with only one woman started talking to the dean and saying, you should recruit more women. And when I graduated, there were 3 more women than there were men.
All right. Let's hear it for progress, right?
Yes.
All right. Thank you for sharing that, David. There's a shining moment. So who else? Neil-Ann. Hi, Neil-Ann. I'm looking down because you're at the bottom of my screen. Good to see you again. Neil-Ann's been on our calls. Is there anything you'd like to share, Neil-Ann? I see you're outside.
I'm not usually up from the bed this early, but we figured we could make it work. Really happy to hear the reports from so many, really an encouragement. My computer's being fixed, so I'm on an iPhone, but I can't see everybody. I've got Chris and Denise and Marion, and for you 3, I'm really glad to see you, but I can't see everybody else. Does anybody know about an iPhone? How do you get everybody on the screen?
I think the problem lies in the size of the screen, because the phone screen is so small, Neil-Ann. I mean, you might be able to try to swipe. You could try to swipe left and right. I'll troubleshoot a little bit and see if I can't figure it out.
Sorry to put you through that. But back to the topic, what a joy to hear the history, to hear about the mobile home park of Marion and the golf carts and getting together and the photography and of Stanford. Really many things that come about from Piners. I think the gravity of COVID-19 isn't from, I don't know, maybe I project or whatever, but I think of, patients that are here, the residents that are on bed B, and I can't get close to them enough to be able to make a meaningful relationship. Although talking over bed A, I do what I can. It's just difficult. It's like I'm going to mention name here. Scotty has MS, and he gave up on doing anything with what he's able to do. And I can understand he kind of divorced the family, knowing that he was going down. He's a very devoted follower of Jesus. At least, from all that he says and does, is so gentle, so kind. And it's just like he's willing to bow out of life and do it as quickly and gently as he can, with a man who has so much yet to give. He doesn't see it. But when I'm with him, there's laughter, there's joy, there's common ground on Jesus talk. And I can't do that. I think that my heart grieves for relationships that were, at a degree that was deeper than is now. And then on the flip side, the joy is that I can be with people, though we have to be. I have one who is had been in quarantine, had gone to the hospital, came back, had to be in quarantine for a couple weeks. Then she was moved to a bed that is accessible on the courtyard. And we're limited on how many in the courtyard, but very few want to. And I get out and then I can visit with her through the window. Those kind of interactions lift me because I dearly love the community here, as I've heard in the hearts of others, that they are our extended family and extremely closer than even our own, because we are seeing them, with them, laughing with them, crying with them. So I think it's the relationships. COVID-19 interrupted my being able to, on Power Chair, go downtown, meet with old friends at a restaurant for Chinese food or Mexican food, things like that, which were so very enjoyable. Well, COVID-19 interrupted all of that. So it has made that the relationships here have come even more valuable. Well, anyway, I'm just grateful always to hear different perspectives on life. It's like this group becomes another part of an extended family. And I am alert for the prayer group that I help with over email, so that I know what to pray for from even this Eden Alternative group on Fridays. So anyway, we're in this together, and by the grace of God, we'll come out on top. Thanks, Chris. Thank you, Denise.
Oh, wow, I don't even know what to say after that. Neil-Ann, again, as always, thank you. Couple comments in the chat box. There is from Tony. She just said tears, just tears. And Denise said the helplessness must be so painful for the gentleman you were talking about with MS.
Yeah.
So I'm sure your prayers are, I know, helping, and just knowing that you pray around this group as well, just, I don't know, I get all warm and fuzzy. So thank you, Neil-Ann.
Thanks, Chris.
Yeah. So who else would like to bring something up? Anything about, we seem to be talking about experiences today. So is there anybody that would like to share anything? Laura, Shauna, Gail, Meredith, Evie, Jackie, Lisa, Grace, Evie.
So it's not about sharing, it's about looking for advice from everyone. I don't want to be falling into a rage at people who won't wear a mask, who are being belligerent about it, but I'm actually needing some help on how to deal with these people. I mean, Kim put up this Kim, many of you know Kim, she put up a story on Facebook, and but it wasn't a real story, but it was like perfect. When somebody berated her for wearing a mask, she said, "I'm wearing this to protect you, but if you don't want protection," and then she started sneezing or coughing, and then she chased her. I mean, she didn't really do that, but actually I like that tactic. But I'd like something more wiser from the wise people on this call, especially those of you who lived through World War II and some of the very difficult times in the past. And I'm not young, okay? So, but I still haven't learned exactly what I need to do around this.
Who's got some advice for Effie?
I'll jump in, but I don't think it's really advice, since everyone was so quiet. You know, Evie, I've been thinking about this a lot, and it's such a tough one, right? Because I keep telling myself that the only way that we're all going to make it through so much uncertainty for an extended period of time that's unknown to us is if we can find some respect for our choices for our own self-care. And I noticed lately that that's been faltering in me, that I'm going toward more judgment and more impatience when I go places that have signs that say masks and people are there close to me without one. It's really challenging, but I think it's really interesting how now it's like there's this politics around what you can tell me to do with my body and what does freedom mean, you know, on a personal basis. For me, freedom isn't freedom if my choices impair your freedom. So how do we help each other in humankind, right? To really assess common good. And I feel like we're challenged in our society with that question around common good and what does it mean to be a part of a human community. That's not advice, it's chatter, but that's all I got.
But it indicates we all feel probably similarly. I'm not alone in this feeling, so yeah.
You're not alone. No. And I do feel it rising in me, and so I'm trying to like recalibrate. So I appreciate the question.
Go, Kevin.
Hi.
Hi. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. This is my first time that I've taken the opportunity to be on this call. So do let me first say, Neil-Ann, you were absolutely a blessing to me, reminding me of the perspective that we have to have. The resilience that you show and the faith you have has been just incredibly encouraging to me today. And it was a delightful surprise to listen to you. Thank you very much. As it relates to the masks and the not masks, we have to make sure that I feel the same stress because I have family on both sides. I have family that are raising their fists about being, they have the right to not wear it. And then we have the other ones that say you're stupid for wanting to wear it and you're sheeple. and it has become so polarizing. I think what we have to recognize is we can't allow them to determine what our soul looks for, and that is to look to be together and to say, isn't it delightful that we can still love each other and have different opinions? We have to choose to make that decision every day. I do in the same way. We recently opened up our facility, as an example, for visitation in some restricted sense, according to the governors and the Health and Human Services directives. However, for those that absolutely loved it, I had calls saying, how dare you allow people in when COVID is still there? And I have to care for both of them, the ones that are so grateful, and I have to care for those that believe that I am putting their loved one at risk. So I encourage you, Evie, that you are not alone in that, and that you have to constantly, every day, make the choice to forgive them and to still be the person that you are.
That was beautiful.
Yeah, thank you, Kevin. Kevin, may I ask? I'm not familiar. I don't know you. What community you're from, or where are you at?
I serve at Martha T. Berry facility in Southeast Michigan.
Oh, okay. Yep, I know the name for sure. Okay, great. Welcome. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us today.
I love that, Kevin. I want you to say it again. We've got to focus on what our soul longs for, which is being together. Is that kind of what you said? I mean,
yes.
I know that's what I feel, but when you said it and you put words to it, it was like a big hit. That's exactly what I think we all need to focus on. Thank you for saying that.
My privilege.
Yeah, thanks for being here. Oh, so we have about 8 minutes left. Jack, hello, Jack. Oh, I see Jack Cummings has joined us. Come.
And Jackie's raising her hand. I want to make sure Jackie gets to speak too.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Jackie?
Oh, so talking about the masks and how polarizing it is, you know, the governor of Georgia is actually suing the mayor of Atlanta over the mask mandate. And it's kind of, you know, become so political in the state of Georgia that it's, to me, it befuddles me, because since when is doing the right thing something that we need to sue one another over? You know? And my opinion about wearing masks, and I share it with my family, is that I have a greater responsibility to care for people that I am in service to every day. I come to Park Springs now, you know, after getting to go home, and what comes with me will affect people. So I have a greater responsibility to make sure that I'm taking personal responsibility for my safety, and my family is doing the same thing. And so, you know, even having discussion with my family, I, like Kevin, have family that think masks are silly and don't need them, and have gone to Florida and, you know, done silly things. And I say, you know what, you can live your life the way you want to, but you don't get to come to my house. You don't get to come see me. If you want to talk to me, video chat, whatever, that's fine, but you don't get to come to my house, and I'm not coming to yours. So just keeping myself in that state of mind that I have a greater responsibility than just what's in the 3-foot circumference around me, you know, helps keep me grounded with that argument. If somebody says, you know, well, you know, you're wearing a mask because, you know, you believe everything. No, I'm wearing a mask because I have a greater responsibility to the world. And that's just how I look at it every day.
I think that's beautiful. First, I want to apologize for coming late. I'm trying to go back and forth. Senior Housing News is having a virtual summit at the same time, so I was over in that side. It was very interesting because they're all about money, and so you guys are all about caring. So hearing the difference was fascinating. But I think something that was said last week in this session applies here, and that is that wearing a mask is love. And if you love your neighbor as yourself, you wear a mask. If you don't wear a mask, it shows you only love yourself and not your neighbor. And so if you're a neighbor, keep the hell away from people who just love themselves. It doesn't work well. Unfortunately, the political leadership seems to have control of the coercive force of the state to make mandates, and this thing has become politicized in a way that doesn't seem indicated by the science. The science is clear that if you wear a mask, you protect others. If they wear a mask, they protect you. That's the science. And so I think when people don't wear masks, and I live on the beach, so we see lots of unmasked people here, or maybe some of them have moved their masks to their bottoms, because that's about all that's there. But anyway, if you don't wear a mask, you're making a statement that you're self-absorbed and you don't care about other people. And I think it's as simple as that. Love your neighbor as yourself, wear a mask.
All right, straight shooter, Jack, always. Love it, thank you, yes. Yes, very much so. Yeah, I'm in upstate New York, and I don't see people without masks. I think once I've seen somebody, there was actually a neighbor and walked right in her house without a mask. This was like a month ago. We like freaked out. We're like, whoa, like just backed up from people. So
here in California, it's the opposite. We rarely see a mask.
Oh, I'm sorry for that. Yeah, all over the place. Yeah, Star.
I do 1 day a week at our medical supply, and I had an experience which kind of made me giggle at myself, because I had this gentleman come in to shop in our store, and I immediately put my mask on and went out on the showroom floor and was talking to him, finding out what he wanted. I didn't even notice that he didn't have a mask on. And one of my coworkers came with a mask for him, because we do have masks that we provide if someone comes in without one. But it just kind of was like, Star, what's wrong with you? You didn't use your eyes. You didn't identify the problem. But we all wear masks, and most people who come to our store wear masks. That was just a very unusual experience. I was just so caught up in serving this gentleman, I didn't even notice the missing mask. So I think part of it is, we're all adjusting to mask wearing. And I know I found myself get out of my car without my mask and get all the way to where I'm going, and everyone's looking weird at me. And then I go, oh, yes, and I'll be right back. I think we're all adjusting to this next normal. And so I think gentle reminders always help. My coworker coming up with a mask in her hand was very appropriate, and the gentleman kind of put it on. He didn't have it on totally right, but I wasn't going to instruct him on how to wear his mask. So, it is something we're having to adjust to.
Thank you, Star. Thank you. Well, we're at 1:29 again. Oh, Jenny, did you want to pop something in real quick?
Quickly, I wanted to offer this to you, Abby. I have seen you and followed you and watched you work far before we ever met or did associate training together. I watched you at Pinion and then Vivage, and I watched what I felt like at the time. I was so furious, and I was so mad at long-term care and where we were and how we needed to change. And I see that fight in you too, but I also watched the way that you handled that through grace. And so when it comes to that feeling, right? That wanting to cough all over the dude in the parking lot and chase after him. It's about that personal power. It's about handling that with the grace that you have within you, because that's how you affect real change. And I love Jack's reminder of our masks as an expression of love. So I just wanted to offer that. Sometimes I think our elders teach us things just so that we can bring them back and remind them of those later. So thank you, Abby.
Thank you, Jenny, so much. I mean, that just brought, I mean, tears. I have a warrior personality, but I do have a very sensitive grace part. But right now my warrior is in full, you know, blown measure.
Thank you for reminding us to balance our warrior side with grace. That was beautiful. I can't think of a better way to end the call right now. I just wanted to give a shout out to Marlena Malone. I haven't seen you on the call before, but hello. Thank you. And I know I saw you pop in for a minute on camera. So we'll be doing these the next 2 weeks. And bring your thoughts and bring your topics. Denise will send something out along with the recording today. So if you have topics for next week, please, please bring them along. This has been wonderful as always. And everybody be safe, be good to each other, and be a warrior with grace.